Hello model railroad fans, welcome to Vintage Road and Rail. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at a DCC sound value locomotive from Bachmann. This is an F7 with Southern Pacific livery, and it's in the Black Widow paint scheme. And I don't normally buy Western railroads. I've always lived east of the Mississippi, and so the railroads I grew up watching as a kid were things like Chessie System, Louisville and Nashville, Seaboard Coastline, stuff of that nature. And today what I see is going to be CSX, Norfolk Southern, and there's another one I see around here. I forget the name of it now, so R.J. Corman. I see their red locomotives around, but they're more just local, here in Ohio, Kentucky, down into Tennessee. But when I saw this, I was just kind of taken by this Black Widow paint scheme. I just really thought it looked nice, and so I got it fairly cheap. This is definitely used and more than likely a discontinued product, but I was told it runs good and I couldn't pass it up. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the packaging, since I have all the packaging and everything, and then we'll put it on the layout and let's see how it runs on a DC layout. I have never run a DCC locomotive on a DC layout. I've gone the other direction, run a DC loco on a DCC one, but never the other way. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. Not really a lot to see, so I'll just scan there and let you see that. And in here, it gives us the item number and a description of what we should have in the package. More of the same up here. Not really a lot there. And on the back, just kind of a glorified advertisement for their DCC system, which I think after all these years Bachmann is finally going to update. I think it'll look, if I remember correctly, and my mind's not playing tricks on me, it looked fairly similar to this, but it had some enhancements. So if it comes out, I may buy it just to review it and see what I think of it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get out of the package. Let's see what all is in here. So let's set the locomotive aside because I see some paperwork. I'll set the box aside. So paperwork doesn't look to be much of a big deal. So we've basically just got some warranty information, and then we've got some information on it having DCC on board. And then on the back we've got an exploded diagram showing us what's inside. And one thing I do notice in looking at this, and I'll kind of move in, is that this motor has dual flywheels, so that's a good thing. Now I'm not sure if it's 5-pole or 3-pole, but I would hope they would put a 5-pole motor in something like this. Alright, well, to get this out is pretty standard Bachmann fare for these locomotives. You just lift right here, and I drop my little soft plastic, and then we lift the locomotive out. It's got some nice weight to it. And here's the bottom of it. I don't see any traction tires, and we can see it's DCC equipped. See, what does that say exactly? I'll bring it up here so you can see it. And it just says DCC sound on board. And you've got 5 screws right here if you want to take the shell off, and that would make it compatible with any of the shells that you get from Bachmann's parts list for their F7s and their FTs. Alright, so here we are. Here is that Southern Pacific Black Widow livery. I think it looks really good. And let's just move around. And we've got the standard Bachmann knuckle couplers. You can see those here. Seems to like I got a bit of a shadow going on here. Sorry about that. So let's bring it down a little bit further. And here we are on the conductor's side, or engineer's side, I'm sorry. And we got a little bit of paint around the window. And on top here, we got, I believe this is our dynamic brake. We got our horns, and we've got some exhaust fans. We have no steam generator, so I'm guessing we're going to be pulling some freight with this rascal. And on the front, I'm trying to figure out if it came like this or if someone actually added some grab irons. I've got a few of these F7s, and I don't remember seeing some grab irons there. So that's interesting to see. And that's pretty much the walk around. Everything looks nice and crisp as far as the paint's concerned. But with the exception of those couple of grab irons, everything seems to be molded in, the detail wise. But I'm thinking these windshield wipers are added on as well. Again, I don't know if that's special with this particular livery, with the Black Widow scheme. But so I'm not real sure on that. And I noticed it doesn't have a road number. So that's pretty interesting. All right, so I want to stop the video right here, load her up on the track, and let's see how she performs on a DC layout, and we'll go from there. We are all set up on the layout here. I did run this already, a couple of laps in each direction just to make sure it was broke in a little bit. Not sure when it was run last. And I say that just for full disclosure. You know, that way someone don't get the wrong impression of it when I run it. And also, too, why keep filming if it ain't going to work? All right, so, excuse me. Here we've got our Southern Pacific Black Widow locomotive on the track, and I think she looks good. I really like it. All right, so let's go ahead. We've got her in forward. Let's get her in gear. Let her make a couple laps. Then we'll go over there and pick up those cars there in that caboose. And I meant to switch out to a Southern Pacific caboose, but oh well. Up. There we go. With this layout, I don't know if it's the age of the power supplies, but it takes a little bit of current to get them moving. Not as much as it does with this, probably because it's DCC. But when I first run this, I was kind of surprised to hear the sound running. So that's a really neat feature that once you apply power and get it moving, you get some sound. And you can see we got a working headlight there. So even if you're on a standard DC layout, you don't have to get completely left out of the sound thing. Granted, you're not going to have all the literal bells and whistles that you get running full DCC, but with a Bachmann basic like this is probably what most people are after anyway. So let's let it come on around, and then we're going to stop it, and we're going to pick up those cars. I did manage to get the bell to ring on it, but that was at low speed, but it keeps wanting to cut out on me when I go too low. Alright, coming on around. But you could even hear the engine revving down, which is really good. There it goes. I caught it. It cut out. Alright. So let's change the direction. And let's bring it back. Alright, so we're going to throw that switch over there. So that's going to be switch number 4. So let's come over here. And there she goes. And let's come on in and pick up these cars. What the devil? Alright, I've brought it around and hooked it up to these cars. Seems like the problem was with the power blocks. Real quick, just to show you. That outside line is represented here and it's power block 4. So if we come down here to 4, it was switched down to the B cab, which I use the B cab to control the turntable. And so for some reason, I guess it kicked over to the A cab to control the turntable since I didn't have it switched properly. So it seems to be working now. So let's put it in forward and let's bring these cars on out. And once we're clear, we'll throw that switch. All right. So let's let this get in a good couple laps. Oh, dang. For whatever reason, I kept derailing at the Oscar Mayer car right here. It kept wanting to go into that inner loop. So I've just, after a couple of whacks at it, I just decided to reset and try again. So this time I did put on a Southern Pacific caboose, so looks like we'll match. So let's try to get in a couple more laps here. Excuse me. Hopefully this one won't derail. Alright, so far so good. Alright, we're coming back around, so let's see. Alright. Alright, Model Railroad fans, that's a look at this DCC Locomotive with sound value by Bachmann. Southern Pacific Black Widow livery. Looking pretty good in my opinion, running pretty good. As long as I can keep that one Oscar Mayer car from trying to go in that inner loop. Well, alright, Model Railroad fans, if you enjoyed taking a look at this locomotive, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you have this locomotive, you know, tell me all about it in the comments, maybe when you got it and what you think of it. Certainly wouldn't mind reading those comments. Well, alright, well until next video, happy model railroading guys, take care.